Dhirubhai Ambani's sons, Mukesh and Anil, were very close to each other. At least that's what Dhirubhai believed, so he never wrote a will. But after he died in 2002, the two sons fought over their father's business empire. Eventually, their mother Kokila Ben, with the help of some elders, reached a settlement between the two warring brothers. So bitter was the separation that the two once close brothers never spoke to each other for years. Now Mukesh has reached the position where his father once was, and he doesn't want to make the same mistake with his three children, Akash, Isha and Anant. So he is presiding over the division of his $220 billion empire while he is still alive and kicking. Made all the more urgent after an alleged health scare rumored to be a liver problem, for which reason he is believed to be spending a lot of his time in the estate he bought outside London. The empire he has created is so large, he'd need at least a dozen kids to carve it out properly. But he's got just three, and so he's divided his business into three verticals: energy, that's oil to chemicals O2C, retail Geomart, and telecom Geo. Brown University graduate Akash Amani 32 is the anointed heir to the telecom empire, a business he has been involved in even before the launch of Geo in 2016. Given a board seat at a young age of 22, he lived up to expectations by playing a handy role when Google and Facebook bought stakes worth $4.5 and $5.7 billion respectively. Believing his older son was now competent to run the company without his help, Mukesh stepped down as chairperson in June of this year. Akash's twin sister, the Yale and Stanford educated Isha Ambani, the only Ambani child to have worked in the US briefly post their education, has been hands-on with Geomart's online and offline operations since 2014, launching the Agio fashion store at the Lakme Fashion Week, which now boasts of 2,000 brands and counting, and is taking on the might of Nykaa and Tata Click by floating their in-house competing beauty brand, Tira. Youngest of the three, reportedly the most kind-hearted and lovable, Anant, is a bit of an oddball. He is more an ardent lover of nature and wildlife and keeps a menagerie, a collection of rare animals in captivity, at his Navi Mumbai house. Demonstratively religious, he also sits on the board of the Badrinath Kedarnath temple. But despite having a very powerful and influential father, he has been a target of unforgiving shaming and trolls. For his weight of 200 kilos, ostensibly brought on by asthma medication. Being the apple of his mother's eye, partly owing to his frail health and partly because of being the youngest child, Neeta Ambani enrolled him into a specialty obesity hospital in Los Angeles and herself joined him in his weight loss journey, losing 18 kilos. While Anant lost a phenomenal 108 kilos in less than 18 months to coincide with his 21st birthday, becoming an inspiration for the very people who once trolled him. His father Mukesh had reserved the group's flagship Reliance O2C business as Anant's part of the inheritance. But since he had not participated much in the business, there was an initial resistance for him becoming a director. But surprisingly, the shareholders didn't seem to mind and voted overwhelmingly in his favor. And he repaid their confidence by diving into the business full time. He now spends days on end at the Jamnagar refinery as Daddy Ambani continues to helm as chairperson. Mother Neeta once again sacrificed by vacating her seat on Reliance's board to make way for her younger son. Neeta is now dedicating all her energy exclusively towards the Reliance Foundation, their philanthropic arm that focuses on women and children. She also has her hands full running the HN Reliance Hospital and the swanky Ambani School, and the world-class NMACC, which Isha also helps manage, that hosts Broadway shows such as West Side Story. Not to mention the success she has had managing the 5-time IPL champions Mumbai Indians with Akash. All these, in time to come, will also be divided amongst the three heirs. Like good Gujju Maru families, the Ambanis have inculcated the discipline of hard work in the next generation. The only blemish, if we can call it that, was when allegedly an Akash-driven Aston Martin rammed into an Audi and a Hyundai sedan one late night 10 years back. Allegedly, because a driver from Reliance Industries owned up to the crash, in which there were only minor injuries. But the badly damaged cars of the victims were quickly replaced by upgraded vehicles and the matter hushed up. However, in a world where children of corporate elites could easily go astray, the three young Ambanis are on top of their game. Often we see dynasties fumbling as the new generation has so much money that it doesn't need to work. According to a famous parable from 1400 AD, Historian and artist Ibn Khaldun was once asked by Taimur the emperor, "Tell me about the fate of dynasties." Jahanpana, the first generation conquers and builds the empire. The second generation spends times in administration and manages the empire, while the third spends the wealth of his ancestors on cultural pursuits. And what about the fourth generation? Fourth generation, it's all spent by them. Acknowledging this truth, India's other top conglomerates are also setting up succession ladders well in advance. The Piramas separated pharma from finance last year and divided it between the next gen. The far-sighted O.P. Jindal had already handed over operations of his companies to his four sons before he died in an unfortunate helicopter crash in 2005. While Godrej Group patriarch Adi Godrej has already crowned his children with different businesses while he is still very much around. Srichand Hinduja, eldest of four brothers of the London-based Hinduja Group, UK's richest family in 2023, filed a petition to break away from his three brothers. But the other three refused, quoting a pact signed by the four of them in 2014. "Everything belongs to everybody and nothing belongs to nobody." They plan to park their assets into trusts as a way of succession planning, a formula that is getting increasingly popular. Mukesh Ambani too is believed to be considering turning Reliance into a holding company with a trust-like structure in future. Because trusts, which exist in perpetuity, are not obliged to pay estate duty, which is applicable in some countries but was abolished in India in 1985. It is also a way to ring-fence assets of a family from legal disputes arising out of divorce, debt default or defamation. Right now, Mukesh Ambani is bang in the middle of delinking his various businesses as independent entities. Ambani's Jio Financial Services demerged from Reliance and was listed in August this year, while the IPOs of Reliance Retail and Jio are expected soon. Another option that companies like Dabur have used is to make children oversee businesses as board members while letting career professionals run the company. Hence, when Akash was made chairman of Jio, Pankaj Mohan Pawar, with 12 years of experience, joined as managing director. This resembles the path taken by Walmart founder Sam Walton, who passed on 80% of his share to his four children 40 years before he died, while letting a professional run the company towards the end. A practice the four Walton inheritors have continued by keeping themselves out of day-to-day operations, and yet are collectively richer than Elon Musk today. The old days when dynasties died out due to neglect are long gone. Continuity with change is the signature tune of all dynamic organizations. Bisbo's limerick. The Ambanis have already had one succession fight. So Mukesh, while he is still alive, wants to set things right by dividing his share. No fight for the chair. So they all get along and the future's bright. You will also find these sources listed in our video description section.